So I'm out currently filming for my Salmon Run documentary, and I'm just continuing to put the Canon 90D and the Canon 100-400 USM through their paces. In today's content, I'm going to talk about the Canon 90D and the Canon 100-400 USM II. I've been using this camera for close to a year now, and I'm very happy with the pictures and videos that are coming out of this combination. With a 32 megapixel APS-C CMOS sensor. The high drive mode allows you to get 10 frames per second, 11 frames in live view mode. And that is for a total of 27 pictures until your buffer fills out. Now that's not enough to just sit there and spray and pray, but it's enough that when you see the bird, you hold down the shutter and you will get the perfect position of your subject. Battery. I spent the entire day shooting in live view mode at the Royal Ontario Museum. When I got home, I had 1 bar of battery left. It lasted the entire day. But when shooting through the viewfinder, I will go multiple days without needing to charge my battery. On the 90D, we have a fully articulating 3-inch 100,000 dot touchscreen. The screen allows you to shoot in positions that would be very uncomfortable with a fixed screen. It has slow motion. 100 frames slow motion with the lens stabilization is phenomenal. There were these ducks, and I got them eating grass in slow motion. Another time, I shot hummingbirds. This camera is weatherproof. I have shot in the rain and there was no problems. I didn't have the microphone plugged in. It wasn't a torrential, biblical style downfall, but it was raining, not just spitting. The 90D has built-in time-lapse, and honestly, it is incredibly easy to use and set up. I have used it for sunsets and to capture a blue heron on a waterfall. Overall, I think the video for the Canon 90D is fantastic. It has uncropped 4K and cropped 4K that lets you punch in even further than that 600 millimeters in 4K. That's pretty crazy. The Canon 100-400 USM. I love this lens. It is crazy sharp and prevents an astonishing amount of chromatic aberration. This lens is part of Canon's L series, thus the red ring. I picked up mine used for 50% off. It is a little bit dinged up around the filter thread, and some of the writing along the switches aren't fully there, but it works fantastic. And honestly, having a bit of wear on your lenses makes you look like more of a pro, makes you look like you know what you're doing. The zoom ring is in a perfect place for your hand to reach it and not be uncomfortable. The ergonomics. This lens isn't light, but it has a good heft to it, and it feels sturdy. It isn't cheap plastic. With a lens this big, it can put stress onto your mounting bracket of your camera. The good people at Canon have thought of this, putting a tripod foot onto the lens to help alleviate some of the stress that the extra weight so far forwards is putting on your camera mount. The position of the switches are far enough out of the way that they won't be hit by accident, but still can be used. The switches have a fantastic feel to them, and you know when they're in position. One of my favorite things about this lens and camera setup is just how lightweight and compact it is for a 600 millimeter reach. Because of the APS-C sensor, being a crop sensor, you take the 400 and you're multiplying it and you get to 600 millimeter reach, which is crazy. The lens is an external zoom, so it will compact nicely down to a smaller size. When I first tried this lens, I was utterly shocked at the sheer speed of the autofocus. Combined with the stabilization, this lens is outstanding. I have been able to get buttery smooth pictures and videos with low shutter speed because of the stabilization. This lens is super sharp and helps you really get the most out of your Canon 90D's compact sensor. I use this combo and I can get super up close footage of the moon. I can see craters, and it is crazy that you can see the moon so clearly. The images that I get out of this camera and lens combination still shock me, even after having it for close to a year. When I'm out taking pictures, I always need more reach. Even with this being a 600 millimeter equivalent, but with this lens being super sharp, I can digitally zoom in to an amazing level.